Shan, 33 years of age now, 1 or 2 streaks of grey in the beard there. How do you reflect on your test career in particular over that span of time?
I think it's been pretty start and stop. When I look back at my debut, it was in 2013, and that's 9 years. That's a long time, but if I look at the number of test matches, 25, I feel those are the test matches someone from another part of the world, like in England or Australia, would probably play in over 2 years. So that's something that's not satisfactory. But again, the experience, the highs and lows, getting dropped and getting opportunities to see how I can work on my game, improve on my game, and then come back. I think those are the lessons you want to learn in life, and they put you in good stead.
What have been the main frustrations for you in that period?
I think obviously the chances initially. My first 12 test matches, they came at 2 test matches apiece. Never played more than 2 test matches in a row. Probably only, once played more than 2 test matches in a row, which was 3. That's something I struggled with. But when I came back into the fold back in 2018, 2019, after playing a lot of domestic cricket, a lot of games for the A teams, we went to South Africa first. And in those 2 years, I played another about 13 test matches. And most of those were in Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and England. At least I got a consistent run in that. It was 13 test matches in a row. But again, it's not as many test matches as you hope to play. Pakistan on average plays 6 to 7. So I think those are the things that you want more. And I've seen with my cricket, the more games I've played, the better I've gotten known of the conditions of my own game and my shortcomings and my strengths. So those are some things that have been frustrating.
How has your game changed? You mentioned there the kind of period, the stop-start period at the start, and then that run of games. How much of a different batsman were you in that second phase compared to the first?
I think a few honest conversations. One I remember with myself when I didn't do that well against England in the UAE. There was the short ball that I couldn't handle in the UAE. Mark Wood tested that, even James Anderson did. Then when I went to England, I realized I was playing quite ahead of my body. And then luckily I was able to play a lot of white ball cricket. And that basically made me figure out what I was as a player and as a person. I am somebody that likes to put the pressure on the bowlers, score quicker, maybe in a more sort of orthodox way than an unorthodox way, but I got to figure my game a lot. So those were conversations and things that I saw. So I worked on my technique, worked on my range of shots, and I think playing a lot of white ball cricket also allowed me to play better red ball cricket, and I've seen that over the last 3 odd years in first class cricket. There have been some decent numbers.
More than anybody in the Pakistan side, you've probably got stronger links to England. You were school in England, university in England, before we get on to Derbyshire and then maybe Yorkshire next year. But what were the effects of those early experiences in England on you as a cricketer?
I went to England for my 6th form boarding school. And deep down inside, I thought my cricket was done. This was after playing for Pakistan under-19s. Didn't have a good World Cup in 2008. But when I went there and I saw the atmosphere, my school had 6 grounds. It had an indoor facility. There was a first to a 6 team, even under-15s and under-9s. Then we played against some really good schools. I remember playing against Halebury, Sam Billings being there. Remember playing at Oakham. And once I started getting a lot of attention in terms of scoring runs and things, I think that changed my sort of way of looking at cricket. Then I obviously took a decision to go to Durham because Durham had excellent cricketing facilities. It had an MCCU there. I was lucky to work with Graham Fowler, Foxy. I think he was a good influence on my cricket at that time. And then I started doing 6 months of first class cricket in Pakistan and 6 months of university back in England. Then enrolled into a Loughborough University ran program in 2014 when I got selected in Pakistan. So I'm very grateful to the system England has, even though I'm not from England. But as a foreign student, I was able to go there, access the facilities, and actually sort of nurture myself as a cricketer over there.
And that almost went a stage further last summer with Derbyshire, where you had an exceptional season, averaging 70, 80, whatever you averaged, a couple of double hundreds in succession. What was the value of a full year of county cricket for you?
It was something I'd been chasing for quite a while, just to get a county gig, county stint. Over the years, we had some certain conversations with counties and then couldn't really cross the line in terms of a deal being done. I've had this conversation a lot of times before on media that I bumped into Mickey while I took a break from the game. We just had a conversation. He told me he was going to Derby, and I pounced on that opportunity to play a full seasons of all formats, something that I wanted to prove as well, being able to play all formats, being able to play the length of the season that is in England. And like I said, the more games I played, I felt I got better. I figured out a lot of areas of scoring. I was lucky that Mickey hired Ian Bell as a batting consultant. Working with him was brilliant. I thought my offside game in England, having just talked to him about it, I was able to do things that I hadn't done before. So just having that knowledge, that support. Ajmal Shahzad was there as well. I think just how Mickey ran the club. I had experienced guys like Wayne Matson over there, Billy Coddleman, they're great leaders at the club. And then just some youthful guys like Leas Deploy. I think that was the kind of setup I needed, just to feel at home and really give my best performances, which I was able to do over there.
And you've taken that a stage further next year, because you've taken on what is quite a significant challenge, captaining Yorkshire. Just explain to people, A, why you wanted to do that, and B, what you hope to get out of that experience.
Number one, one of the hardest decisions that I had to take, just breaking the news to Mickey. He was great about it. He basically said that if he was in my place, he would have done the same thing. Number two, having worked with Otis in the PSL, just getting to know him, getting to know his coaching style. I thrived a lot under that Andy Flower ran regime at Multan, and Otis was a part of that last year. And then number three, just test ground, Headingley. They were in Division 1 then, so that was one of the things, but I was never vocal about that till the season finished. And then for myself personally, like, I don't know how much they'll be there, but just sharing a dressing room with Root, Bairstow, Malan, Harry Brook, Adil Rashid, Adam Lyth I've played with at Multan. And then you want to take these opportunities. I think, like you said, I'm 33. This is probably, in terms of captaincy and the stature of the club, one of the biggest moves that I can have coming my way. So to turn it down, I felt I might not get that again later on. So this was a perfect opportunity to go to a club and really sort of play cricket my way and sort of help them in whatever way I can possibly, with me as a person and as a player. And I think the club has got a target to sort of get back to Division 1, get back to sort of doing well in cricket, and it's an exciting project and opportunity that we're all looking forward to.
And does leadership obviously, you know, is something you're looking forward to. I remember speaking to Nathan Lehman, who was telling me, you know, his role with you at the Multan Sultans. He used to send signals to you, and I said, you know, it's not an easy thing to do in T20 because it's a lively game. And he said, Shan Masood can do it. You know, he's one of the few captains that has got the kind of the brain power to do it. So leadership clearly is something you're encouraged by.
The thing is, leadership has always given me the chance to be there for everyone else. I think that's a big part of leadership. I feel I'm very accessible as a leader. I don't care if someone's not played a game or someone's a senior player. I tend to be as accessible to them and as open to them as possible. I welcome all kinds of opinions. I don't think I take anything negatively or personally. I try and reflect on what someone is saying, because everyone has their side and their story, and leadership has allowed me to do that. And it was good that when we played for Multan, we had Nathan Lehman and his setup, just adopting those numbers, looking at stats. I think that it's a good solution a good tool to have, and then you can create a solution using those tools as a number. And then I was lucky that even at Derby this year that I got to captain the white ball side, especially the Vitality Blast. So that gave me a taste of what a dressing room in county cricket can be like. And I felt at home. And again, with Yorkshire, I'm looking forward to it because we've got some really good players. And And I don't think it'll be a tough job managing those players and some really good young upcoming players.
You talked about solutions there. You had to find a solution to Jimmy Anderson, didn't you? Who you've had issues with it in the past. Just talk about that challenge from an opening batter's perspective. You may not open in this series, but just from an opening batter's perspective against a highly skillful bowler like Jimmy Anderson.
Look, I think first I took it really personally, getting out to him 6 out of 6 times. Then the record got a bit better. It became about 8 out of 13 times. So I'm pretty happy with how I've progressed. But look, then I realized that what's the hardest job in Test cricket? It's opening the batting. Who's one of the best bowlers to ever play the game? Jimmy Anderson. He's got numbers on the greatest players to have played the game. So I don't see myself, or I don't see that as anything personal. That's just the quality of the bowler. That's just the difficulty of the job. Yes, I'm not just going to accept a dismissal. I'm going to obviously go back, work on it, and then come back. And I thought that when I played that next innings after 4 years at Old Trafford, just to go there and sort of embrace that pressure again, those are the things you want to do in cricket. And then to get 100, and then yes, to fall out to him in the next 2 innings wasn't too pleasing. But again, those are the things you want to do. You want to go back, work on your game, and then once you get that second chance again, make sure that you've learned from your mistakes.
And is finding a perspective on the game important as well? I know you lost your sister very sadly, but I think I've heard you say that then kind of provided some perspective afterwards, and all the struggles that cricketers go through that you feel when you're in it, that it's the most important thing of all, but you realise in the end that actually it's just a game.
Exactly. I think to be vulnerable, to be open, it taught me that. I remember when she passed away, I was playing a national T20 game in this hotel. We were supposed to go to Lahore the same day. And I found out on the way while going to Lahore that she'd passed away. I came back after the burial, literally the next day, to play the back end of the tournament. And I wasn't there when I was playing the tournament. So I called Andy. I'm really close to him, Andy Flower, and I said I want to take a break from the game. Even though we had some conversations with some people at the PCB, and they said that you should play first-class cricket, you might come back into the red ball setup, but I said I want to take a break from the game. There are things that are more important in life, just to spend that time with my family. I think that was very important, and that allowed us to realize that she was a special child. She was bound to go back, and she went away while we were here and while we could really look after her. So we wouldn't be sort of worrying about anything that could happen later to her. So just through a lot of perspective. And when I came back to play the game again, it was like, so what if I've gotten out? I'm getting this opportunity. I'm really grateful for it. And then 12 months later, I'm playing a World Cup final. I couldn't even think about it, if you ask me personally, just to play a World Cup final, to contribute somewhat to the Pakistan side in that, to have played county cricket in that season, the amount of cricket I've played, the amount of runs I've been able to score. I think it's all come from perspective. And it allows you to learn a lot of empathy and be sort of understanding towards other people as well. We're all here in this world trying our best, and I think that my sister gave us a very good lesson.
That's a good place to finish.
Thank you.